This is Duncan and Hayden Scott after just rewatching The Prestige circa
2006.
2006, roughly, I think. So Hugh Jackman, Christian Bale, Michael Caine,
All of the Nolan players.
all
that you
yes,
know
the
that
more
at the time was still more or
fairly
less
new,
fresh.
yes. So takeaways. Any first thoughts after rewatching it, Hayden?
I mean, it is good.
It's good, okay.
It's hard to find things to say other than to say that it is really good. It's when I think of Nolan missteps, this isn't one of them.
He doesn't have a lot. I mean, even
That's really
even
true.
his
even
lesser
things-
ones like Tenet. I actually even rewatching it. I mean, maybe that's something
I
else we
wouldn't
do
even
later
say that's
on.
bad. I think
No,
that's
that's
just,
what I'm saying.
I think
It's
that's
not bad.
Just convoluted. I think his earlier films like
Yes.
Following,
Still
and
haven't seen it.
Memento,
Saw
are
it.
just
It was
messy.
good.
They're not as good. They're not as
Refined.
Not as tightly
They're
constructed.
not as refined.
They're not as
Yes.
well thought out in terms of their plot, and I think that's what I really enjoy about this one.
Yeah.
More so.
Well, I
than
like that
than I enjoy its effects and its
Yes, yes.
characters. Is that
Well, it is.
all of the
They're
plot
they're
is-
good
is-
characters.
that is
The story's
true.
good.
That is true. But what I enjoy about this is that all of the plot is happening all at once, and it never becomes confusing.
Yeah, well, I think that actually goes to the story because the story is the three parts of a movie, and then they also reference the three parts of a magic trick.
yes,
It kind
yes,
of
they
works
do.
the whole
Yes, they
thing.
do.
Like the whole,
It is-
I
it
literally
is-
wrote like, oh, the prestige at the end, like the wrap up is like
I mean,
exactly what they talk about in the movie.
what I will say is different about this compared to something like an Inception or a Interstellar is that they really drive home the point they want you to get from this movie. They repeat the prestige shtick,
Well,
if you will,
yes.
like 3 different times to make sure you come away with the outcome that they want you to come away with.
Well, I think
Which
that's
is fine.
what I think that's what worked so well with this, which sometimes when it's more convoluted is it's feels like intelligent movie watching, but it's also actually very spoon-fed and very simple.
That's true. That's true. There's not a lot of required thinking that you need to do as a viewer
Not-
to understand the plot
Not
because it's going
overly.
to be explained
Yes.
to you.
Yes.
There's not a lot of nebulous plot lines that are left up in the air for you to interpret for yourself. It's very much A, B, C, D. Even if D happens first, and when you get to A, at the end.
Sure. Well, that's why I also like. Again, it's for the story, but it also helps with just the like flow of the movie. The journals that they use.
Oh yeah, those are great.
Well, they're great plot devices. Like, oh, I want to explain something in the past or quote unquote in the future. It's an easy way to like not make that seem messy.
Yes, it is a physical thing in the movie you can use to explain what is happening.
You referenced seeing this in theaters.
I remember.
I
seeing
don't.
the theaters.
I don't think I did. I might have been too young.
This
Do
came
you
out
re-
in 2006, 2008, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
And I'm 30 now, and it's 2024, so I probably would have been pre-high school.
Well, I don't think I. Do you remember anything from seeing it the first time
I remember
around?
this creeping me out the first time, and I remember being confused. I think
Hmm.
not so much in the opening, but certainly towards the end. The tone of this is really grim, really dark.
It's a little darker in the end. Yes, for sure.
And how old would I have been I started high school in 2008. If this came out in 2006, I was probably 14.
Yeah.
Something like that. And I thought frankly, just the visual of the huge semi-pyramid box, that was fucking creepy. The fact that it's always in low light, even when it's in a well-lit room.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Yes.
always in shadow to make sure you know that this is mysterious, that this is creepy, that you should, or Michael Caine's character, you should keep abreast from this. I remember coming away really enjoying it, not really understanding it, and being slightly creeped out.
Yeah. Maybe not to poke holes in it,
Well, that's okay. You can poke holes.
but I
Poke away,
So
my brother.
yes. I noticed that all the characters, when they're picking people in the audience to check things out, there's, like you said, there's a huge theater. There's hundreds of people there.
There is no
and they
variation.
always pick out, the bad, or like not the bad guy, but the opposing magician.
Well,
Like Scarlett Johansson, who, she's much younger, but she's still a babe, picks out Christian Bale.
well, to be fair,
Like when he rips the cage, I was like, you picked them out of the audience like, do you know that's them? It's not like, if you look at them, it's
I
clearly
think there has to be some allowances of logic
sure.
to make sure that the story moves. Because yes, you and I, hypothetically, if we're doing this and we're saying,
No, but like they
that's
all do it to
obviously
each
boring.
other. They all
I'm
do it
not
to each
doing
other.
it. Well, right,
It's not
right.
just one. I was like,
But like,
yes,
let's say
for the
I'm-
story, for
okay,
the story.
saying I'm Hugh Jackman. Obviously, oh look, there's Borden in the same wig he always wears. I'm not calling them on.
Well,
stage.
yeah,
you
yes.
do have to allow that to happen so the story happens.
Yes. Well, just like the thing with Michael Caine, where he's hitting the glass with the side of the axe. I'm like,
Well, and as I mentioned to you, I think
no,
I'm willing to
no,
accept.
no,
that
you're
there is
just
a
wrong.
logic behind
There's just fucking no logic.
She's in the tank. She's drowning.
Yes.
If Michael Caine.
Michael Caine. Yes.
Oh, let's never do that again.
That was fucking great.
No, they're both terrible.
Okay.
So if Michael Caine actually breaks through the glass with the cutting side,
He wouldn't
would.
he wouldn't chop her in half.
I'm not saying he would chop her in half, but he would certainly cut right into her. I think.
Well, I don't
think
know.
Him hitting it with the flat of the blade makes some sense. I agree it would work better if he's hitting it with a cutting edge, but on some level, I don't think that would help. I think my biggest gripe with this, if I have to have any,
Which again, it's a great movie. I would not recommend it to someone.
I think this is a good starting Nolan movie if they haven't seen Batman's.
Yeah,
Because-
like I wouldn't start them with someone with like Memento
No.
or Tenet or anything like that, or even Interstellar. Like it's
I think this is a good starting of Nolan because you get a lot of words. You get a lot of the flavor of the things you would find in his later movies in smaller doses. You get some time jumps, but it's not the
craziness. Yes,
do a line of blow and it's like, oh, all the movie needs to happen in reverse.
which is cool.
Like again, a lot of Tenet is frustrating.
That's not Tenet. That's Memento.
Two sides of the same coin.
No,
I
you need to rewatch Tenet. It's actually on a rewatch. It was much better. Just saying.
It's true. I could stand a rewatch. I did only watch it once.
Okay.
I did not like it.
Okay.
I didn't like it in the same way that
we digress.
We digress.
Anyways,
Back on the topic.
yes.
The one complaint I would have about this is that while it is fun to see David Bowie in this movie, he doesn't need to be cast as Nikola Tesla.
I thought he was fine as Tesla.
He portrays the character fine, but Tesla is the only part of this movie that is a real person, that is a grounding in reality. Nikola Tesla doesn't look like David
Yes, he
Bowie.
does.
He literally doesn't. He has the same mustache. Nikola Tesla's not a white guy, man. I think he was Middle Eastern.
I don't think so.
something-
American inventor and electric engineer.
All right. Well,
He was born in
potato.
He was born in Croatia.
Right. Well, potato.
He fucking looks like him, dude.
Okay. Well,
That's
to my memory,
okay. All right. But one of my questions was, okay, if you had to recast this movie today with today's actors, like break it down. Think, okay, Christian Bale.
I would still use Christian Bale.
Yeah, he's too old now. He's too old now.
That's true, but there's no other Christian Bale. The man's really talented.
Yes.
Like,
I did write also, I don't remember what part of the movie I was like, man, Hugh Jackman is just a handsome man. He's just a fucking handsome man.
good-looking
Well,
dude.
and also, like, he's so multi-talented. Like, sings, dances,
he dances.
is a pretty good actor.
He's built like a truck. The
He's
dude's
not
stacked.
big. Like, he's pretty, I would say he's definitely super toned. Like, he's jacked, like Hugh Jackman, yes, but
I would say that there is no male actor who is not elevated by a good mustache and goatee. Like, he looks really good with
For-
the mustache and the goatee.
For the time period, yes. For the time period. But I don't know. I was thinking, I was like, okay,
I pitch to you
if
that there
they,
is no
if they
working
didn't,
actor of similar attractiveness that is not instantly made better with a mustache.
it depends on the mustache. Depends on the person.
The mustache that he has when he's shot,
Oh,
he looks great.
I don't know. Some people just look right clean shaven. I don't know. Like,
I mean, so
Tom Cruise? No, don't put a mustache on.
I don't think Tom Cruise would work in this. I think
No, I'm saying just mustache. No, I don't want him in this. I don't think he'd be good in it.
To my memory, when I saw this, what was interesting at the time is that other than Hugh Jackman,
They weren't big people yet.
they weren't big
Okay,
people
well,
yet.
with that in mind, who's...
I don't know, because I don't keep up with my celebrity gossip, and so I don't have a list off the top of my head of unknown actors.
Well, not necessarily unknown, but just maybe more up and coming. Like,
So,
I would not want to put,
A
like,
younger actor, I would
Timothy
say,
Chalamet in this, right?
What, the Murder Twink? No, I'm good.
Careful there, buddy.
It's not wrong. Have you seen Dune?
This is a all ages podcast, just everyone knows.
Duncan, you've dropped F-bombs like 3 times already.
Yeah, that's fucking true.
4.
Yeah, whatever.
So I wouldn't go Timothy Chalamet. If anything, I think I would maybe pick out of the Marvel crop, because they've had younger actors of recent.
They have, and like, I mean,
And while
keep in mind that crop is also like they have just that from that universe alone. There's like 60 different people you can pick from.
Paul Rudd doesn't age. You could always throw him in anywhere.
He's too goofy. I like him a lot. I like a lot of his movies.
So
He's just
a
like
good chiseled, handsome actor, because that's who
I would put
that's who
he's wonky looking, but I would put what's his name? Adam Driver. I like him a lot. I would put him in it. I don't know
him
who
as an
he'd
actor.
be.
I can't take him seriously. The dude looks like how a 4th grader would draw a man.
I would switch him with Christian Bale. He's not the handsome Hugh Jackman, like the performer,
Okay,
but he's the more magician side.
That I'll accept, because he wouldn't embody a performer. You're right. So
Yes, he would be the guy who
part
knows
of Hugh Jackman's character is that he is a good-looking dude. He's
Well,
good to
yes,
see up
he
on
is the
stage.
performer. Yes.
So someone who like that, I think
Did you ever see Greatest Showman?
I love Greatest Showman a lot. It's
Okay.
great, fantastic
Yes,
music.
yeah, I've very much enjoyed it. Sorry.
Honestly, I would put an Aaron Taylor Johnson in there. I think he would make it good, because we've already seen him in Bullet Train with that kind of mustache. I think it works well.
I don't know if I'm thinking about the person, not the like accessory.
But the person is the accessory.
No, I'm saying
If
like
we were hypothetically casting this, we would see him in that accessory.
sure. I guess I just wouldn't boil it down to just does he work with a mustache or not. I'm thinking about like the story of Hugh Jackman in this movie. Would that work for Aaron Taylor Johnson?
He would.
I don't know. It's like that's why I think this is very well casted,
It
including Andy Serkis and
Circus is great. I mean, that's another character actor, if you will. There's nothing he shows up in that is bad.
I mean, I didn't love him. Granted, it was a very small role, and it was almost cartoonish. As Claw in...
I don't know. That's fine.
But yes, otherwise, yes.
That is
yes.
borderline on becoming stupid, but
Yes.
it's still fun.
Yes. No, he's great. I like
I mean,
Tesla.
Michael Caine, always great.
Oh, and he's...
I mean,
yeah.
throw a stone at a Nolan movie, you'll hit Michael Caine.
There is that good probability, yes. What else did I have on here? Ooh. I don't know if you noticed, but like I think it's just the time period, but everyone wears tweed suits, and I was like, oh,
Everyone looks great.
looks great.
Everyone
I
looks
would
good.
wear that today if it was like the norm.
You see, if I wore that today, I would look like the Penguin. I don't think it would work as well.
You just have to get things tailored.
I think I'd need to get a big-ass top hat, get a monocle, get
No,
myself
no.
a cane that
Whatever.
also functions as a machine gun shooting umbrella.
All the different things,
Come
yes.
on. You've got to lean into the fact.
I liked the studio that he bought with the whole wall of windows.
The wall of windows is nice. I also really enjoy the contrast between the characters you get in the way that they decorate their offices, because you have
Well, Christian Bale's is kind of like
you get Christian Bale
chaosy,
it's
messy,
chaos. There's lots of
woodworking and yes,
and mechanical components all around. The shows that he's constantly thinking about ways to do things.
Well,
and then there's Borden, and it's
you mean the other way around? Borden is Christian Bale.
Hush you.
Angiers.
Then there's
Or
Algiers.
the great Dante?
Danton?
Danton.
Ted Danton.
Jesus.
So there's Wolverine study,
Yes.
and it's very sparse, and there's not
Well,
a lot of, and he himself
he doesn't do-
spend a whole lot of time in there.
Yeah,
It's
that's
mostly
because
just
that's Michael Caine. Exactly.
Because he himself is not the person that comes up with the
Well,
thing.
yeah, he's
just
not a
the showman.
magician. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I did like that.
So let me put this to you. Let's say
Oh,
that
God.
you. I don't like your tone of voice. I would ask you to respect my questions.
I'm
as though
fucking
they were
waiting.
your own.
Can you just ask the question?
You know, let's
This
say
has been
you're-
27 years of this shit. I'm just gonna let the audience know that I've been dealing with this for my entire life.
I feel persecuted.
That's fine.
Personally.
I'm fucking fine with that. All right.
I've noted it. All right, so
Can I get that on the docket? Just pop that on the docket.
boy. Okay, so let's say you're Christian Bale in this movie. If you have to choose between Rebecca Hall and ScarJo,
Well, I think Rebecca Hall.
regardless of the fact of which one you have kids with, who
Well,
are
no,
you
no.
choosing?
Yeah, but Rebecca Hall is there when he has nothing.
That's true.
That's a reason why I think he like the actual Christian Bale chooses her, because she also sees him when he is nothing, and Scarlett Johansson only sees him when he's like the talented quote unquote Freddy, which
Yeah, but
triggered
see,
me
then
because I'm
you
like,
also have to listen to her say Freddy.
I literally Freddy, and also Robert
Freddy.
versus Robert. Oh my God.
Like Scarlett Johansson, obviously attractive. I could not
The
stand
accent was not.
Freddy.
Yeah, the accent was not great, but I also at the very beginning I was like, "Oh, Christian Bale." Actually, I think that might just be his actual accent.
Oh, I think it is. I don't
Oh,
think he's British. I think he's actually.
I think he's
He's
Australian.
Him
Well,
and Margot Robbie.
I think isn't. I mean, I have to look it up. I thought Hugh Jackman was also Australian,
Everyone is.
but
Yes, he's also
yeah,
Australian.
yes.
I think I would prefer to go with Rebecca Hall's. Was that Sarah or is that?
Rebecca Hall is Sarah.
So I think I would choose Sarah because at no point in the movie does her character
Betray.
betray him. Like you know, she
You value loyalty.
well, no, I mean, compare and contrast.
Yeah, I get it.
ScarJo's character
She's-
will be willing to give you up and hop on the next warm body,
I mean, figuratively and literally.
figuratively and literally, as long as you're another magician. I
think that's a maybe potentially a generalization, potentially.
possibly so, and I think that relationship was really rushed along and simplified for this.
Sure.
I
Well, they
think
they
it
did
would
a
be
little
interesting-
quick cut of it, like them.
I think it'd be interesting to get this story from their perspective.
Yeah, that
Like,
could be interesting. Like
That
that's
is a
definitely
movie I
not
will
going to
never
happen.
get,
Yeah,
but
that's
I
never
think
going to
it would
happen.
Be interesting to see. Like, I don't know, Nolan, if you're listening,
Bored?
I know you are not. But
We
if
know
are,
we know that you are.
You're a huge fan.
I know.
Release
Thanks
that
for all
book.
the love that you post about us. Thank you. Appreciate it so much.
It doesn't have social media
Yeah. Well, we don't for this either. It's fine.
yet.
Okay. All right. Do you have a favorite line? I know mine, and
I mean, Are You Watching Closely is good.
it is a good line. It is a good
And
line.
you can say it in so many different inflections, and you can get so many different moods out of that.
Yes,
Like,
which
that's pretty good.
yeah, that's a good thing that you. I wonder how many different takes they did of that, where they said it in different
Well,
tones or different
And Nolan
pauses.
isn't David Fincher. He doesn't like doing take upon take upon take upon.
No,
take
but
upon
I'm
take.
sure he has a vision. But I'm sure Christian Bale, because he was mainly the one who said it,
Yes.
probably had different takes of it. I like call it a professional rivalry.
Say it again. Enunciate.
Call it a professional rivalry.
I mean,
I do
yeah.
like that one.
I
Yeah,
also like Tesla's line of, "Yes, money may be no option,
Oh.
but what is the cost?"
yeah, but have you considered the
That's
cost? Yeah, See, again, I think he was great. Not great, but like I think he was good as
speaking
Tesla.
of Tesla, my only other
Oh my god.
knock against the movie is that the moment after he, microwaves the cat, if you will, in the machine to see if it works.
Yes.
Logically speaking, he would have to walk past the huge pile of hats.
Well, it's weird. They should yes.
If Smeagol's like saying, I know his name isn't Smeagol. If Smeagol says
Fucking Andy Serkis, dude.
Andy
Jesus.
Serkis. All right, we got it. Andy Serkis. If he says, oh, we've been trying to test your hat over and over and over again, and it never moves. This means there should be a pile of hats there. And
There were a
is.
pile of hats.
He walks 3 feet away from
No.
it and
It
never
was.
sees it.
It was way farther to the left.
Okay, well, the scene cut from him walking out, hearing the cat.
That's your
looking,
fucking gripe. No, he turned and looked only because the cats were meowing
if
and he
there
walked
was a
over.
Huge bank full of hats. I feel like
It was
I
in
would've noticed.
like a ditch, a gully. If you look at the scene, it's in like a deep press of the ground.
I go on walks all the time. I see gullies full of hats all the time.
Anyway,
Ditches full of hats, gullies full of cats.
speaking of poking holes, if I was the defending lawyer for Christian Bale in the murder case, why didn't he bring up? He's like, oh, if he was planning on killing him, why would he go downstairs and watch him die and wait there, and also try to save him if he was trying to kill him? That doesn't make any fucking sense.
I don't think he was there to kill him. I think he was there to see
what
was happening.
Yes, he was, but the prosecution is saying he was there to murder him. That's what I'm saying, though. That's exactly what I'm saying. It doesn't make logical sense.
It's true, and
Also,
they also never answer the judge. Like, they bring the judge into the room with all the dead Angiers in the tanks. Now, it's not...
That's not the judge.
And you can't really
That's
see
not the
him.
judge.
So, there was the guy working for quote-unquote Lord Caldwell, and then there was the judge in a previous scene.
That's not the judge, Hayden.
It's the judge!
That's not the judge.
I'll be the judge. of
Okay,
that.
all right. The cell blocks both remind me of both Batman Begins for some reason, and also The Dark Knight Rises.
Man, what's the through line with all of these three properties?
What? I know. Crazy. Yeah.
So, for
Just
people who may not know, I really, really enjoy movie music. And this came out at a time before Nolan and Hans Zimmer were a hand-in-hand combination.
Well, they're a hand-in-hand combination, but if you notice, like, Hans Zimmer's kind of the prevailing, like, he does everything.
Hans Zimmer is
Him and Michael
not to be off
Giacchio.
on tangents here. Hans Zimmer,
Dude,
Michael Giacchino.
He's the fucking goat.
Hans Zimmer, Michael Giacchino
Just
is the
saying.
fucking goat.
Yes.
And Marco Beltrame score everything.
Well,
Give the project to other people. I'm sure.
I mean, they keep coming out. They coming out with bangers. So I mean,
it is hard to argue when things like Dune
Yes.
and the new Spider-Man movies slap as hard as they do.
I'm trying to remember the music in the Spider-Man movies.
Well, we can follow that up with a different.
Okay, maybe
Okay,
not.
fine.
Maybe not. Either way,
In any event, it was interesting to hear the music in this, which is so very similar to things you would hear in a Hans Zimmer score. You know, it's a lot of ambient, it's a lot of bass heavy, it's a lot of dissonant notes, it's a lot of suspense heavy music, and it's not him attached. It's someone who I'd never heard of, and the name I now can't even recall.
well, maybe
But
he's influenced by them. It's quite possible.
Oh, it's absolutely possible.
I'm sure there's only.
Hans Zimmer runs like a training thing for new.
No, I'm
composers.
saying maybe Hans Zimmer was influenced by him if it was before Hans Zimmer.
I don't. Maybe.
Granted, I'm sure it's probably.
Hans Zimmer's been around.
I'm sure it's not a huge community, so yes, I'm sure they influence each other.
It's just interesting to hear the same, inflections and styles in this that I would hear in things like Inception. Because I would say that the music style in this is very similar to that. It's a lot of heavy orchestration. It's a lot of almost no drums whatsoever. There's no percussion. It's almost all bass heavy strings.
I was just curious. I looked up awards.
I would say this probably did well in the award season. I would assume. Or what was it competing against?
I mean, I'm sure we could really dive in and look at that, but I mean, it was nominated for best cinematography.
That makes sense. This is Wally Feister.
Otherwise, it didn't really. I mean, it didn't really get much.
Wally Feister, something like that. He and Nolan would work together on a whole bunch of stuff. He did all of the Batmans with him. He did Inception, I believe, and then afterwards, right around Dunkirk and Interstellar.
Oh, I forgot about Dunkirk. Dunkirk's great, dude.
Dunkirk's okay.
Oh, I like it. Again, I wouldn't say it's his.
An odd one out.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's like his strongest, but it's still good.
I saw that in theaters, and boy, that's an anxiety trip, man. It's just so stressful the entire movie.
Yes, that's the whole fucking thing, dude.
He switched to Hoytema.
Oh, of course, my guy. Oh, Hoyt? Me and Hoyt go way back.
I didn't name him. Blame his mom.
Yes.
But
Mrs. Hoyt? Oh.
Technically, her last name is Hoytema.
Oh, my mistake.
Get some respect.
Of course.
But it's interesting to see how the differences in what they prioritize, because things like Dunkirk and things like Interstellar, you get a lot of really bright scenes and you get a lot of pale washes in your colors. And things in Wally Feister, you get a lot of really deep shadows. You get a lot of really subtle color grading. There's not a whole lot of outside of camera color that you get in this, except for towards the end when things are on fire and you get more purples and oranges brought into your scene that I don't feel like are there naturally.
Gotcha.
Now, nothing is quite as obvious as Breaking Bad whenever they go into Mexico and then suddenly everything is yellow-orange flavored for no reason whatsoever.
Dude, that's New Mexico.
Duncan, New Mexico is not a filter.
It's a state of mind, dude.
Mexico's a state of mind.
Looking at the budget and box office, I mean, it made good money. The budget was $40 million, which that looks great for $40 million.
$40 million in 2008?
Which is a good amount of money.
I mean, any million for me is a good amount of money.
But yes.
That's not cheap, but that's not as expensive as I would have thought this was.
No, well, I think of
a lot of large locations. This has a lot of physical.
No, but there wasn't like
had to have made.
Big, expansive, like. I don't think. I mean, yes, there was clearly, obviously, visual effects, but not like.
As many as you would think.
Not as
a movie about magicians.
Exactly.
I mean,
and it made. I mean, it box office won $110 million, so it made more than double its money back.
So what I was curious about when watching this is this before or after The Dark Knight?
Dark Knight. It's right before. So
Right
Dark
before,
Knight was
so-
2008, and I think this came out late 2006.
Yes.
Yeah. So it was slightly before. But was it after Batman Begins? Must have been.
I don't want to look up on my phone. I don't care.
It must have been. So man, he worked with Christian Bale a lot then.
He really did. I mean, he worked 4-5 movies straight.
I mean, yeah, that's a good combo. But yeah, wow, okay, wow. Yeah. If you recommended this to someone, how would you very shortly, without giving anything away, describe the movie?
I would
like one sentence. You're like, oh, this.
As The Prestige is about two magicians in the 1800s with a rivalry looking to outdo each other.
Granted, I think that might be the exact like Google.
It might be, but
I mean, it works.
That is a simple plot
It's
line
very
I can think
simple.
of that doesn't overly complicate what the plot is, because the plot gets complicated right towards the end.
Yes, of course.
Oh, chisels. Ugh.
Well,
I hate that.
see,
scene so much.
that's the little bits of like CGI that they would have to do where they're where he had
I would say. I mean, obviously, the big CGI ones are,
the lightning,
the lightning in the Tesla chamber, and then Hugh Jackman
the
appearing.
lighting in that snowy field with all the bulbs. So nice.
Knowing Nolan, I think he probably did it practically. I think Nolan would do as much as that as he could. Practically.
Yes, I agree.
I think the town in the distance, when you see that power down, that's not real.
Definitely not real.
But the bulbs on the ground, I feel like he probably did it practically.
Yeah, at least most of them. There's probably in the far background, yeah.
If the man is going to plant a wheat field for Interstellar, he's going to find a way to run ground wire.
Yes, of course he is. Okay. Well,
so
anything else you can think of?
If you had any negative things to say about this,
I already did.
Enlighten me. I don't remember. What were they specifically?
Oh, just picking people out of the audience that were clearly the other bad guy, or the axe, or I mean, otherwise it's a pretty. I mean, I'm nitpicking.
Those are fairly small complaints.
Yes. No, it never felt long. Especially, I would love to rewatch this for the first time, because after you've seen this, you're like, oh, it's so obvious about the twist and everything.
It is interesting,
but like
to watch this back now, knowing that there is cloning involved.
Cloning.
What do you think the machine does?
Oh, sorry.
It photocopies you.
Yes. For some reason, I thought cloning like growing another person.
He grew very quickly.
Okay, all right, whatever.
So what I mean. I mean, yes, there is cloning involved, but like now that you know that on a second viewing, the movie is throwing it in your face.
Oh no! Well, not just that.
Constantly.
The cloning, but the cloning. It does the word. The copying is what I would say. Copying.
The fact that there are two Bordens running around at any given time.
That's the cloning is for Hugh Jackman, which is Ian Gears. The two Bordens is not cloning.
So my understanding of the plot is that he used that machine once, and that's why there's two Angiers.
Oh, you mean two Boltons?
That's why there's...
Okay.
Let's just search for them by the actors' names. This is frustrating me now.
Two Batmans, two Wolverines?
Yes.
Okay. I had not thought of that. I just thought he found a double that looked like him.
He thought he found himself?
Yeah. I'm not even joking. I had not thought of that.
Well, startling revelations to be found upon this podcast.
I mean, it does make sense, but I was like, the whole time we're, what's his name?
That's why I thought you said the method is the cipher. That's why he says Tesla, because that's where he went. So I'm thinking, okay, he went to Tesla. Tesla had already built this machine.
Yeah, but then he said
it once.
But he also
then they left and they never used it again.
But then he said in his journal, "It's just my keyword. It's not the thing for my trick." Just saying.
So he does, but I think you have to keep in mind how much of that is written in so that he can needle the other character. Is it true? Is he lying?
We'll never know.
What makes more sense? The fact that he found his exact copy?
Well, it definitely wasn't exact. It definitely wasn't exact.
But it was to begin with.
They don't show you maybe all the practicing and all. I mean, just like they found the exact quote-unquote copy of of Wolverine. He was just a drunk, but it was basically a carbon copy. See?
In my timeline of this movie,
and we're back from whatever that interlude was, because again,
minor technical difficulties. And
first, again, there's going to be some kinks that's going to get ironed out over time,
and we also had minor zoological interference.
Yes, there was a bear. It's fine. It's whatever. We're going to talk about that later. Anyways,
moving on.
Where were we? The Prestige summarized thoughts. Ooh, we were gonna rate it. That's what we were doing.
Do you want to do on a scale of 10 or scale of 5?
5, but there's half
stars.
Half stars. Because again, if you guys don't know, Letterboxd is something that I use. Hayden doesn't, and that's fine.
I personally haven't taken a dive into that, but perhaps by doing this, maybe that's something I
would recommend.
I feel like I don't want to have that much of a time sink on something that doesn't matter. I know what I think about movies. Writing it down doesn't help me.
Well, especially for this kind of thing, I think it might. When I can call back, I know exactly how I thought about... Anyways, just not a shameless plug, but a shameless plug. Either way, on there, they'd rate everything out of 5 stars, and you can do half stars.
That's true.
I think I would rate Prestige 4.5. I don't know if it's like a perfect movie. Because I feel like I would say 4.5 because it's great.
So
But I don't know if it's a perfect movie. I don't know how to explain it.
what would
I don't know.
the
I don't.
half star be?
I don't know. I don't know. That's just it. I don't know how to explain it.
Because I'm in the same boat. I would say 4.5, but I couldn't articulate what Nolan would have to have put
I know.
in
I know.
to make it
Yes.
5 stars.
Yes. I know. I
I
100%
wouldn't have
agree.
complained about a Scarlett Johansson nude scene. I don't think it would have added to the plot.
No, would not have added to the plot. And actually, and again, I'm glad that for the most part.
was-
Hold on. For the most part, Christopher Nolan does not do stuff like that in his movies.
This is true. I've heard he breaks that rule in Oppenheimer, but I haven't watched it yet.
He does, but I don't know if it's entirely unwarranted. Again, that's another
haven't seen it,
conversation.
and I was mostly joking.
Anyway. Yes, I'd say 4.5. I would recommend it to
4.5
people.
out of 5.
I think I said this before, but I think, like you said, it's a good introduction to Nolan. But I also think you don't really need to explain anything prior. The movie does enough explaining on its own,
Yes,
which I think is good.
As we say, the movie does a good job explaining on its own, as in it will literally repeat what it wants you to get from the movie multiple times throughout. It doesn't leave anything up to chance so that you don't understand what Nolan wants you to understand.
It's a
And that's okay.
It's a clean movie.
Yes.
I think is a good way to
It
say
is a clean, really tight movie. There's not a whole lot of fat. There's not a whole lot of things.
Not
that,
really,
that-
and like it's not it's not 90 minutes, but there's never a time where I like, man, this is way too long, kind of thing.
and there's no scene that you can take out and the plot doesn't change. Everything that is in there needs to be in there for
Which
it to work.
can't be said for a lot of movies. There's a lot of things I'm like,
Even
what was the
Nolan
point of
movies,
this?
there are things that
I mean, every once in a while.
yes.
But yes, I agree. Yeah, I guess that's my thoughts on The Prestige.
Prestige is good. We
Yes.
liked it.
Yes, thumbs up. Would recommend. Obviously, if you guys because I know we're gonna have tons of people listening to this,
We're
but
going to be so popular. We're so good.
obviously, I'd say go watch it yourself and have your own opinion. Maybe you like it, maybe you don't.
I would say
If you like,
have a way to watch this, choose to do it not on a laptop or a phone. If you have the ability to watch this
yes, I
on,
would
on
agree.
a TV with any kind of even non
Well, I was watching
built-in
this.
television speakers,
I was like, I would rewatch
really
this
helps
if
to
they
have
had this.
nice sound.
If they had this in a theater, I would rewatch it.
If they re-release this to IMAX, I'd buy tickets now. That
Yes.
would be incredible.
Yeah, I think it'd be great.
But if you have not somehow watched this and you want to watch this, do so on a slightly better system than you would watch a Marvel movie.
Correct. And also, if you watch this and you like it, I would say check out The Illusionist. Again,
It's
It-
different, but it's similar.
it came out literally within a year or two of it. It's the same like time frame of like late 1800s magician illusionist stage performer.
And
It's more love story-esque, and that's not a bad thing. But I just rewatched it recently. It's still great. The music is wonderful. Would
If you're a
recommend
Paul
as well.
Giamatti fan like I am,
Yes.
check it out.
He's
Dude's
also great. He's also great.
He has no bad movies.
And anything else you can think of, Hayden?
Subscribe or follow this podcast if you want to hear more.
Yeah,
We would love to hear back from you. If there's a way to comment on the platform in which you release this, if not,
Well-
this will make no sense.
Yeah. Obviously, again, this is now episode 1, or however we want
The
to.
as yet unnamed podcast that you are choosing to listen to for some reason.
Either way, thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the next one.